StreamYard is the easiest way to multi-stream on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. However, there are some features that are counterintuitive, and I have been getting a lot of questions in my DMs. So what I decided to do is to create a playlist that will address some of your questions. If you have other questions that you would like for me to add to the playlist, go ahead and comment below. And if you want to try StreamYard free for 14 days, you can always use my link, lashondabrown.com/StreamYard. Without further ado, let's hop in. So I started live streaming Mondays at 10 because I wanted a way to engage with my community and also create content if I didn't have the time to put out an edited feed video. So I want to take you just on a general overview of what StreamYard is if this is your first time hearing about it, and then we're going to hop into some frequently asked questions. Essentially what StreamYard is, it's a platform that allows you to multi-stream. So when you go over to the pricing, you can technically use it for free, but you are probably going to fall within the basic or professional category. Now, the reason why I use the professional is because of this feature right here. StreamYard On Air is a webinar equivalent. So because of this feature, I was able to completely eliminate Zoom webinar from my tech stack and save a ton of money. So I upgraded from basic to professional. Some other things that I got when I did that is I got the ability to stream in 1080p versus the 720. Let's see, what else did it add? It added an extra camera. So the biggest thing is the on-air webinars, and I want to give you an example of what one of them looks like. So here are two examples of how I use StreamYard. So on January 8th, I'm going to go live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube to talk about the 2024 YouTube tech stack. If I click on the three dots and click on edit, you can see all three of those have been scheduled. And if I click on the drop down, I could technically put a different description and a different title on all three and a different thumbnail. So here are the individual sections. And when you publish on Facebook or LinkedIn, what it does is it creates an event, but you have to manually invite people to said event. Now, I really like that feature on LinkedIn because it's a great way to engage my LinkedIn community. And that is something that I'm really trying to grow in 2024. So I really like that feature. So if you plan on multi-streaming to both YouTube and LinkedIn, make sure you give yourself enough time to be able to invite people, and that will increase your live viewers and increase your replays because then they'll get the LinkedIn notifications about the event. So I am going to head over to create, and we're going to do a live stream just so I can show you. I'm going to click on YouTube, and this will be a practice stream. So you'd put your description in there. You would say it's public. We are going to make it unlisted since we don't want people to see what I'm doing right now. And then we're going to create the stream. So the fun part is it's actually pulling the camera that I'm filming on right now. So you can see here I am in StreamYard and here I am on the video. So you can choose your microphone. You have some settings here. If you go to general, you can decide on the definition. I would do 720 if you don't have a good internet connection. Then you've got your camera here. You can touch up your appearance, which I like a little touch, and that's something new. You can select your microphone. So if you have a USB microphone and you want to have better quality, you can select it here versus the default. You can do echo cancellation, reduce mic background noise, and automatically adjust your microphone volume. Then if you want to, you can do a virtual background. So you could blur it if that's what you wanted to do. You could add a photo, but I actually like how my real office looks. So I just keep it kind of tidy back here, and that's my background. All right, so if you were recording with a guest who was on a completely different computer, you could also record locally. You can make shortcuts for yourself. And you can decide if you need to ban some guests, if you want to have the green room feature, and if you want to allow them to multi-stream on their platform as a guest. So when you go live on your YouTube account, it would also go live on their YouTube account. So that's something that is a new feature. And in StreamYard, they're very good about notating new features with new beside them. So we're gonna go ahead and enter the studio, and I wanna show you how I have this set up because I think people take for granted the fact that I am the one operating what you see on screen when I do my live streams. So say for instance, for this particular live stream that I've got coming up, I want to talk about my tech stack, but I want to keep referring people back to this page on my website to get people in the habit of being able to search for recommended tools on my website. So instead of making a slide deck, I'm going to screen share. So before I get started, you can see down here, I can add myself to the stage. When you remove yourself, you have no video and no audio. You can see here, your audio was also removed. In the past, I made a mistake with this. I thought if I remove myself from the stage, I would still be able to talk, and that is not the case. So in order for you to talk, you have to be on the stage. So I will put myself back, and since I want to screen share, I'm going to click on present, share screen again, and I'm going to choose that tab. If you're wanting to screen share a video, you want to make sure that you toggle on share tab audio. If you don't, the audio that the people will be hearing on their end will be the audio coming through your own speakers, and that quality is going to be trash. So make sure that this is toggled on and click on share. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to send you to the page that you're sharing. So when you do that, you need to quickly tap back to StreamYard so that you can see what your viewers are seeing. So there are different views here. You have the solo layout, the cropped layout, which is good if you have 2 people, group layout if you have more than 2. This one is a spotlight layout, so the person talking would be spotlighted. This one is the news layout if you want a really small thumbnail of what you're screen sharing. I use this one a lot, the screen layout, so you can still see me, but the emphasis is on the web page. And very rarely I'll use this one, and the only reason why is because it does cut off the text in the bottom left-hand corner. So this is probably my preference if I'm going to share my screen. And then this is the cinema layout, which allows you to focus on the screen share and still have audio coming from you. So you're still on the stage, but you can't see you. Now, when I start a live stream, I probably won't have my screen shared. So before the live stream, and I really strongly suggest this, if you open any practice stream like I'm doing right now, whatever banners you put into StreamYard during the practice stream will be available for you when you open up your event. So I wanted to prep for my tech stack live stream by going into StreamYard and pre-programming into StreamYard the things that I would want to pop up on screen. I have DM'd the word tools on Instagram, which is a mini chat trigger, so that when people send me a direct message with the word tools, mini chat will automatically respond with whatever message I want them to receive, and that should also boost some Instagram engagement. So I have a StreamYard banner because I want people to remember that what they are currently watching is being made possible by StreamYard. So if they like what they see, they'll be more likely to give it a try. Emphasize the free trial, which is 14 days. Now, personally, I have a coupon code that I use in all of my live streams when I've got something new in the shop, live on YouTube, and it gets people 15% off anything in the shop. And that's just encourage people to take action on things that they heard about on the live stream, and it's driven traffic to my digital product shop and helped me to advertise without having to beat people over the head. So I really like that. Now, speaking of advertising, every month I have a $10 workshop that I place inside of my PayHip store. And so I created this lower third to market the workshop. So I would say, say what the workshop is and say, hey, if you want to get a discount on your workshop ticket, make sure you use the code live on YouTube to get 15% off. And that code does not expire. I don't care if people get 15% off, even if they technically weren't on that day's live stream, because it's driving traffic to my shop. Now, the last thing that I have here, and you technically can run a ticker banner and a normal banner at the same time, is subscribe and turn the notification bell on. I don't ask people to like. Liking is going to happen automatically, but people do need to remember to subscribe and turn the bell on if they want to be notified when I'm going live. I don't always send an email when I go live, and so that's the best way to find out that I am on YouTube. This will also boost engagement for feed videos that get posted to my feed after that, because they're getting a notification for my channel, not just for live streaming. So that's a fun little growth hack there. Now, comments, when people are commenting on your active live stream, if you click on their comment, it will pop up on screen. And so I really love that feature, and I utilize that heavily when I do my workshops, because it really does encourage people to engage, which makes the workshop so much more fun. That's another reason why I switched from Zoom, because Zoom webinars felt very clinical, and I would just get super anxious because I couldn't really engage in the same way with my community like I do on Mondays. So it just felt like unnecessary pressure. So from there, you can put in your brand colors. I have my brown in here. I use the bubble. You can add a display name and a headline, but I would encourage you, after you've done your introduction on your live stream, to toggle them off. The reason why is your content will be easier to repurpose if you don't have to worry about that text being cut off. So that's what I tend to do. After that, you can put up logos. So if I wanted to put the Bootstrap logo, I could, but I think what is more valuable is to actually remind people that this live stream is being powered by StreamYard. I think subconsciously just hitting them over the head, like use my link, use my link, use my link, is for the best. Now you can do an overlay if you so desire. And here is my secret sauce. Okay, so let me talk you through these video clips. You can loop these clips if you want to. But the reason why I have these clips in here is to essentially help me to edit my videos as I'm streaming. So when I am ready to go live, you'll see the countdown timer in the top right-hand corner. And I wait until it gets to about, 30 seconds before I'm supposed to hit the go live button. And I will start the countdown timer. Now, this particular timer has music on it as well. But this gives me 1 minute to get myself together, to grab some water, to look in the camera, make sure the framing is right, all of that stuff. So it helps cover up the transitions. Now, I'm going to let this timer play out to show you the really nice thing that it does. Because when the timer finishes, there is sort of a fade in effect before it transitions back to the camera. So I'm going to remove my screen share from the stage. And so when this timer finishes, it's going to fade to me. Now, I made these timers available in my shop because a lot of people were asking for it. And if you go through Epidemic Sound, you can put your own music on it. If your vibe is not lo-fi music like me, I personally like it. So you can use them as is, or you can add your own music. So watch it fade out. Hi, welcome to the live stream. That countdown timer is really useful to make your live streams feel polished. However, remember, once you end that broadcast, that video now turns into a replay. So for the replay audience, you definitely want to trim out the timer so that there's not a ton of dead space at the beginning of your video where you're not actually talking and you don't have people drop off. So if you need to know how to edit a live stream that has recently ended, make sure you click on this video over here and subscribe to my channel for more StreamYard tips.